You go through a beam and suddenly everything comes onto a computer and you know exactly what's going on and you press a button and you fix this and you fix that. I mean, this is exactly what you're doing. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Leaders Uncut. If you're new, welcome. I am interviewing here on this channel incredible leaders and innovators that are changing our world. And today it is my great pleasure to have with us Xavier Serrano, who is the founder and CEO of Marqi Medical. Hello, Xavier. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on here, Catherine. It's
Yeah, no,
a
you're
true honor.
welcome. You're welcome. It's a great honor. I can't wait for you to talk about what you're doing with your initiative with Marquee Medical. So let's start there. Let's start from the beginning. What inspired you initially to launch Marquee Medical, and what was the gap in the market that you were trying to solve?
Yeah, so it all started and really my entire career, I've been sort of in the sidelines and playing a small cog in a big wheel in healthcare, working with group health plans, working with actuaries, and just managing group risk, but more of a reactive, chronic disease management standpoint. But back in 2020, that all changed. My father had a near-death experience. He had a widowmaker heart attack. We nearly lost him. It was very, very close. And while I was sitting in the hospital bed next to him, I just made a promise to myself that if he were to make it, that I would, kind of dedicate my life into solving this, completely avoidable,
Yeah.
unnecessary late stage disease management that we have right now.
Mm.
Everything that he was doing was in line with what his doctor had told him to do. He exercised regularly, ate well. If you look at him, he's not someone who you think would automatically have a chronic disease or let alone be close to a heart attack.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, up to 80% of people in the U.S., experience a heart attack without any symptoms.
Right. Right.
So that became my life mission, and shortly thereafter, I started Marquee Health, and not too long ago, started Marquee Medical to actually provide the services to early detect and prevent chronic diseases.
Got it. My God, isn't it interesting how some critical events in our lives determine our future? I mean, in that case, it was something obviously that built a huge motivation for you to act upon what happened to your father, which is incredibly honorable, first of all. And I'm sure that along the way you realized that it was actually your purpose right from the get-go, right?
Yeah, it was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think anyone with the means would do the same.
Mm,
So I don't think I'm too special. I think that I saw a problem. I'm sort of built that way. Is I constantly see problems and I want to solve them. My problem is the opposite. I see too many problems, too many things I want to take on.
right.
But this is a big undertaking. Taking on healthcare and
Yep.
major medical is a huge problem in the United States. But I do believe that we have solved, at least in a microcosm of the big grand scheme of things, we have solved for the problem of late stage chronic disease and health optimization.
Okay, yeah, no, I know it is critical for sure. So, where are you exactly at the stage of your company? And I know you also integrate concierge, physicians, you have mobile, phlebotomy, genomics, wearables. AI is also part of all of that, which is fascinating. So, can you explain how you pieced all of this together and how it works within such a diverse ecosystem?
Yeah, it's that's part of the challenge, right? So it wasn't easy.
Mhm.
It's piecing a lot of things together that don't necessarily or haven't been historically pieced together before,
Yeah.
and that was a huge challenge. But luckily, I think the timing worked out perfectly because when we started in January of 24, we didn't have, the resources that we have today with AI, right? So that company really couldn't have started at that point. But in the last, 6 months, 6 to 12 months, AI has really come a long way. So we're looking at, you mentioned all the things that we're doing. We're using genomics, advanced imaging, advanced labs, wearable data, those four different data sets put together. We're synthesizing over 43,000 data points, which is very, very comprehensive. Nobody else in the entire world, as far as I know, is doing that. So we are world leaders in that area. And we're taking all this information and then we're coming up with real actionable outcomes and treatment and protocols and programs for these individuals. And that's what our AI allows us to do, is it allows us to take all this information, provide a report to our physicians, physician review it, then they go ahead and communicate it with the individuals, and then they have a very detailed outline action plan that has ongoing testing, ongoing monitoring throughout the year, and more importantly, that accountability. Because that's the part that everybody misses, is you have to have some sort of follow-up that says, hey, Catherine, we put you on this program. We're having you take these supplements. We have this meal plan. We have this grocery list. We have all this stuff put together for you. And now we need you to execute on it. We're going to check up on your labs in 4 weeks, and we're going to see where you're at. And that ongoing touch points with your coach, who's a nutritionist and a personal trainer, and your physician, creates that accountability, and that's what really drives change.
For sure. Well, and with accountability comes customer service, and with customer service comes trust. I mean, that is a journey that needs to be implemented for any type of business to succeed. And it seems to be obvious, but unfortunately in our world, it is not obvious. So there's definitely a place to take here in the health sector, although it's true in so many other sectors. So, I mean, I love the fact that you are utilizing AI, because it will play a significant role into elevating that customer service, right?
Yeah, customer service is something that's easy to talk about. It's easy to say. The execution is a completely different thing. And in healthcare, it's almost non-existent. It's very difficult for people to actually execute on it. But I think we're in a great position because the bar is so low.
Yeah.
When we execute at a high level, people are blown away. We like to think of ourselves as the Ritz-Carlton of healthcare.
I love it. That's a great positioning. So that's a great segue to speak about the audiences that you're targeting here. It seems like you're targeting high performance executives and CEOs, right, as well?
Correct.
Can you talk to the specific pain points that you're solving for that audience that the current healthcare system is completely overlooking?
Yeah, so in most areas of life, you can actually upgrade your experience, right? You can go to a nicer restaurant, you can go to a nicer hotel, we talked about earlier. You can buy a nicer car with, fancier, luxury equipment things. But when it comes to healthcare, everyone gets the same, kind of version of healthcare, which isn't great. It's not personalized. It's not preventative. It's definitely not predictive. And this is our opportunity to kind of elevate what people can have access to. And we're doing it in a way that's never been done before. It's extremely comprehensive. Now, someone might be listening, or you might be thinking, well, you can get concierge doctors. And you're absolutely right. There are some really good ones out there. But the difference between what we're doing and what they're doing is, for the most part, concierge is just a easier, to some degree, it's a more convenient delivery system of what currently exists, right? You get sick, you call your doctor. You need to have a referral made, you call your doctor. But and maybe some of them are starting to do some advanced labs and different things like that, but nobody's doing genomics to the degree that we're doing. We're doing whole genome sequencing,
Mm,
2.9 billion base pairs of your DNA. And with that personalization, where everything that we're tying into that, from your uh, food regimen to your medication to your allergies to everything in between, it's all based on really starting out from your genetics is really the core. Then the
mm.
outer layer is the advanced labs, gut health, food sensitivity, advanced lipid panels, so on and so forth. So, it just keeps getting more and more personalized from there out. And then down to your personality type. We're very, very much aware that you can't communicate the same thing,
Right.
for in most of our clients are high performers, but a high performing C-level executive that is used to being in control, you can't have the same communication with that type of individual versus someone who's a little bit more passive and kind of more goes with the flow.
It's, to me, it's just incredible that something like that has not even been created before. You would think, wow, I mean, why did we had to struggle so much, which is the case of so many people right now with figuring out our health, and creating preventative solutions that are critical at so many stages, right? So um, you're really changing. I mean, I can see that the on-demand, customized, high-end health solutions here that you can access at just about any time when you need it, to figure out really to. I mean, it's just almost hard to imagine. So, can you talk about this, and how easy or how difficult is it for someone to just, because there's a lot of education that you're going to have to do too. So what's the customer journey here? Is that something that will be really easy to implement, to utilize for anyone out there?
Yeah, so we call it the Marquee longevity optimization journey.
Okay.
And we've actually got it really, really tight. That's what we've been working on really hard with our leadership team, so that we can actually get you from start to finish 30 days from
Okay.
your first blood draw to your last imaging and meeting with the physician. We can do that anywhere in the country. So we have mobile phlebotomists, we have imaging centers,
Wow.
we have all the infrastructure set so that we can actually get you through the process. And what we've done is we understand our client is busy. All of us are really, but especially when you start looking at the C-level executives, their time is extremely valuable and extremely precious. The irony of it all is that they should be focusing on their health as their top priority,
Yeah.
but typically they put their family and business a much higher priority. I'm guilty of this. I struggle with this every single day.
No, I believe me, I get this. You always think, hey, I'm fine. There's no problem. That's not a priority, right? I hear that all the time.
Right.
It's not, and I'm doing the same myself as a woman, right? So
Right.
you just know, and deep deep inside, you know that you have to take care of yourself somehow. But hey, it takes
Right.
second stage, right?
Yeah. And you mentioned it earlier. This is part of the empowerment and education part
Right,
of what we're doing, saying, hey, look, we need to put you go to the airplane, we hear this every single time we fly, right? You need to put the oxygen mask on
right.
yourself
First,
first. Otherwise, you're no good to anyone else. And we're not doing that. And you mentioned it, women are the biggest culprits of this. They prioritize their family, their jobs, everybody else before they get to themselves. And then here we are 10 years down the road of doing that,
yeah,
and your health is completely depleted. You have no idea why you're feeling
yeah,
tired, why you don't have good sleep, why you have anxiety. You turn to healthcare and they're like, here's a bunch of pills, go ahead
yeah,
and pop those. And I've got bigger problems.
yeah. And that is so true. And you just mentioned something that is critical because we are living times now where there's such levels of depression, anxiety. I think it's heightened to a point where it's dramatic and extremely dangerous. And people don't know how to address it. And like you say, you're giving pills, or you say go see a psychologist, it doesn't solve anything because it's a holistic issue. It's not just your mind, it's your body, it's the whole thing that needs to be reevaluated, right?
Right. Yeah, we got to look at hormone levels. We got to look at
Yeah,
cortisol. We got to look at lipid panels.
yeah,
We got to look at your genetics. There's a whole list of other things we should be looking at before we go, here's the medication,
yeah,
here's the pill.
yeah.
And,
I absolutely
and
love
healthcare
that.
does the opposite.
Health,
And frankly, the business community also, we applaud leaders who, you know, don't eat and don't sleep and work on the business,
yeah.
but long term, that's not sustainable,
It's
right?
no, it's not sustainable. I always say when you have a business, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You have to take care of everything. You have to be healthy mentally and physically. And you have to have the right tools, the right methods in order to achieve that because it's not always obvious. People try to self-medicate or self-fix anything that they're suffering from. But like I said, it's a gamble. It's a true gamble.
No, you're absolutely right. And to some degree, we are moving in a direction where people are at least aware of longevity. They are aware of,
Yeah,
biohacking. They are aware of all these different things
true.
that are out there. The problem is nobody actually knows if they're working, and
Yeah,
they're hacking away at trying to figure out to see if this thing maybe works for them. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But again, what we're doing is taking a very holistic, the most holistic view of your health so that we are putting different data points and saying, yes, you do have trouble sleeping, but from your monitoring your movements and exercise routine, you're getting no exercise and you're on your screen right before bed. I mean, that fixes so many problems. And yet people are like, no, I'd rather just take a pill or just say that, I'm constantly tired or I'm constantly have brain fog or fatigue because of my age. And sometimes it's a really easy fix like that. Maybe it's a vitamin deficiency, maybe it's a lifestyle choice that can drive that significant change, but it's just not obvious to the average person. And that's where we want to be saying, hey, look, we're going to look at everything very
mm,
holistically, and we're going to make the proper recommendations. We're not guessing. We know this is precision medicine at its highest level.
and you're arriving at exactly the right time because I see the world pivoting and changing and evolving at the speed of light right now. And we need solutions like that because people's expectations, people's lifestyle is going to be changing drastically. We're going to be forced to. I really believe that we will be forced to change our life and change the way we are evolving. And we need solutions like that. It's critical. It is so critical. So let's talk about this. What's your go-to market strategy for the next 12 months, and how are you going to measure success in the early stage of your rollout?
Yeah, so we're very lucky. We have extremely good partnerships with executive peer groups that we are doing a lot of public speaking with them and educating and empowering them on these things.
Mm-hmm.
So we just rolled out a new talk that we're doing to specific groups, and it's called the 10 health KPIs that will save your life and your business.
Wow, that's powerful. I can't wait to see that. Wow.
Yeah, so we think that that's really going to drive a lot of awareness that needs to
Yeah,
happen in the marketplace.
yeah.
So there's a lot of these executive mastermind groups. We have uh, one very big partnership with the largest group. I guess I can announce it. We're going to get ready to announce it here pretty soon. So it's with Vistage.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to be Vistage's uh, preferred provider of these educational services, and it's all about educating and empowering people. So we're actually not asking for anything. We're strictly here to give people some insight as to what they can do themselves, even without the help of Marquee. If you just ask better questions for your doctor, I mentioned my father, and I'll give you the first KPI, key performance indicator that we recommend people knowing about is your calcium score. In my opinion, everyone should know their calcium score like you know your credit score.
I need to write this down. It is important. You're right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
And let me tell you why. It's the number one predictor of a heart attack. Because sometimes your lipid panels aren't necessarily showing exactly how much calcium is or plaque is in your arteries. So when my father went in, his lipid panels were fine. But when they actually went in and put a stent in because his arteries were clogged, he was a 90% blocked. And of course, your heart can't pump. You're not going to be in a good position there. But it happens so slow over time. Just like your teeth, right?
Yeah.
You get your teeth cleaned, you get the plaque off, great. 4 months, 8 months, 12 months, you start seeing it, you start feeling it. You can see it. Well, we can see into your arteries by doing this scan. It's not an expensive scan.
Wow.
It's, $500-600, but it can save your life. And we're doing this on a preventative basis so that hey, Catherine, last year you're at a calcium score of 0. Today you're at a 20. Next year it's at a 50. You're trending in the wrong direction.
Right,
and that's the insight that we want to tell people. It shouldn't be a surprise, right? It shouldn't be like, oh, I didn't know my credit score was, 300. Oh, that's a shock. Yeah. It should be, no, this is what we're doing. We're going to track it. It's not going to be a surprise, so that you're not caught off guard. But that's healthcare today. It's like, no, we don't need to do that with everybody. We're fine with the, I forget the exact number on the number of lives that pass away from heart disease and heart attacks in America. It's a pretty high number where it shouldn't happen.
Well, and it's also linked to nutrition, but that's another topic, right? Because that also is part of that. So that sounds amazing. But the problem is, and I'd love to address that, even when you pay for the best insurance, health insurance in the world, where you can spend thousands of dollars, and you still go to the doctor, you still have to pay hundreds of dollars in addition to the thousands of dollars. And then each time you have an X-ray or an MRI, it's another thousands of dollars. I mean, this is, I think, the reason why people don't take care of themselves properly, because it's outrageously expensive, and people have less and less the money to do it, and that's a big challenge. So that comes and opens the doors to my next question. When people hear, "Oh my God, that sounds great! Oh wow, how I'm going to be able to do this and check everything out and make sure that I'm okay." But how much does it cost? Xavier, what's that supposed to be?
My life purpose in this world is to bring these services down to free or as accessible as possible.
Okay.
We are a startup, so we can't do that on day one.
Right.
But if you go on my website, we will do a free health risk assessment. You can fill out the questions, and we'll give you the blueprint of what you can do today to work with your doctor, questions to ask, programs to look into based on your risk factors. Okay. So that's available free today.
Right.
Some of the things that we're working on, I'm super excited about our health intelligence engine, which is our AI platform, and we actually are doing something really exciting right now. I have to think whether I can release this yet, but I suppose I can. I just can't go into too much detail. But we are already providing value off of your health records, so we can actually take all of your historical data, run it through our AI engine with our proprietary data set and servers, and we're able to give you health recommendations just off of your historical data alone that's significantly better than what you can get from your normal doctor today.
That's exciting. Oh my God.
The
Yeah.
doctors tend to miss stuff, right? You know, that's
Yes.
why they have malpractice, and that's a
Yes.
huge issue and a huge problem in America is misdiagnosis of critical diseases. And they're human, right? Like your knowledge set, even if you've been doing it for 40 years, is just 40 years. What AI allows us to do is take all of the data sets that we have, all the actuarial data that we can put into our AI, and it can go over hundreds of thousands of gigabytes and extrapolate things that are relevant to your particular data sets and labs and imaging data that you have. So we're already doing that today. We haven't moved that into scale yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing I can't really announce, kind of the projects and organizations that we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
But that's sort of the next phase or evolution of the organization, is to get that to the masses where we can provide that at a very minimal cost. Now, it won't be as comprehensive as our 43,000 data points doing whole genome sequencing, whole
Right.
body MRI annually, a coach and a physician. That's a certain
Yeah.
subset of the population that we're
Yeah.
going to help. But I'm super excited about the fact that AI is going to help us really bring this to the masses and at least provide some level of data to the insurance companies and to the individuals where they can go, hey, look, this person, and I'll give you a super obvious example on how this could work. This individual has a family health risk of breast cancer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Female, mother had it, sister had it. Healthcare says, yeah, we're not going to go ahead and do any kind of advanced blood work or imaging until a certain age. Like that's just our policy.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably fight it if you know that you can do it, but most people don't.
Right.
So unfortunately, people do have diagnosis where they're late stage breast cancer. We can do is we can do a preventative screening for that BRCA gene and see if you have that risk. If you have that risk, then we know that you have 80 to 90% chance, sorry, 70 to 80% chance of having breast cancer in your lifetime. So
Wow.
now we know, hey, we can't mess around. At the very minimum, this individual should have mammograms.
Yeah.
Depending on their circumstance, possibly MRI. And these are some advanced blood work that we can also incorporate that can actually detect if you have cancer. So it's a liquid biopsy. So there's a few companies doing that today. So knowing that we have a certain risk, we can put the right protocols in place so that we're testing annually or sometimes biannually, depending on the individual, to make sure that this doesn't ever escalate. And right now we have no visibility. It's just sort of a luck of a
Yes.
draw.
Yeah.
Hopefully the individuals are empowered enough to know what is out there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have single payer. So it's the next person's problem. That's how the insurance companies see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't change the bottom line this year, it's not happening. We're not investing because you're either changing companies or you're changing insurance every 2 years. So that's just the reality of where we're at.
And you're tackling a major challenge and a major issue right now that I know has to be addressed because it's not sustainable and it's not fair. So yes, that we need change for sure. And you are doing just that. I can see, I can imagine the movie, a new sci-fi health. You're jumping into a new world where you go through a beam and suddenly everything comes onto a computer and you know exactly what's going on and you press a button and you fix this and you fix that. I mean, this is exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, we're very close to that, right? So
Yeah.
I think of the movie Elysium, where they have the
Yes.
scanners and they fix you
Yeah.
right up, right on the spot. They go, hey,
Yeah.
there's the problem. We're going right in, and you're going to walk out, and you're not going to have that disease. We're
Right.
getting very close to that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're probably about 25 years away from that actual reality, but we can piece it together. I can send you to imaging. We can do genomics. We can do blood work. It's not quite all in one place as quickly as the movie makes it seem, but we're very close to doing that today,
Yeah.
and I'm hopeful with AI and some of the advancements that happens a lot faster. But that's exactly what we're offering.
Hmm.
It's just not quite in that package that people would love to
And,
see it in.
and it may happen sooner than later. You never know. I mean, it just needs a little bit of help of our alien friends bringing new technologies we don't have. You have to be open-minded.
Yeah.
Right? That's possible. So anyway,
Well, who knows how the Mayans put those those pyramids together?
well, that's the one thing that the humankind is going to have to be open to, because they are coming. They will be here soon to help us out. I know that. So, Xavier, what you're doing is incredible. I mean, first of all, it takes courage, but I
Thank
can
you.
only imagine spending over a year developing a new business, a new healthcare model. It's not a small feat. It's wow. What have been the biggest leadership lessons you've learned through this creation of this brand, this launch, and this journey that you had to go through?
Just surrounding myself with great people.
Yeah,
It's not a one person lift. We need as many people. Even your part with allowing me to be on the podcast, right? Like we got to get the message out. It's it's really a grassroots movement that everyone needs to take a part on. That's why Vistage was so excited about what we're doing, is
yeah,
they see the vision and they see this as being the future of healthcare, and they see my passion wanting to empower and educate people on these resources. And it's not it's really it's going to take a village,
yeah,
because healthcare is very powerful. Making a lot of enemies by the day in the traditional healthcare world. There's a lot of money involved. There's high stakes, right?
yeah,
There's a lot of people that don't want to see something like this move forward,
yeah.
right?
I
Big
know.
pharma is like, no, we don't want to prevent things. Like we
It's
want to treat things like
it's a
that. That
threat. Yeah,
costs us
it's a
money,
it's a threat to their own survival. Yes.
right? But at the end of the day, I mean, I think the more that people see what's happening, and it sees that we are fattening up our society. We are pumping them full of hormones. We are pumping society full of medication for the profit, for the corporate greed.
Yeah,
The more that people see that and go, oh my gosh, let's look around here. Like, what is going on?
yeah, yeah.
There needs to be an alternative. And I think this is the perfect tipping point with AI and Marquee being in a really good position to hopefully lead that. And there are others. There are other companies that are doing things like what we're doing, maybe not necessarily as comprehensive, but we need everybody to be, kind of rowing at the same pace, rowing at the same beat, because it's not a one person boat, and it's not a one person journey. It's really going to take an entire community of individuals who are passionate about what we're doing and helping us get there. And luckily, we have some incredible attorneys, advisors, part of UCSD,
Mm,
DSU,
mhm.
a lot of organizations helping us. So
Yeah, you're going to have the masses behind you to assist you there too, because that's what it's going to take. The people they're not stupid. They know exactly what's going on. They are starting to develop a certain level of clarity into what's going on. And I think when you raise that awareness, you will have crowds behind you that will push you to finalizing your endeavor here, and put it in place, and make it something that becomes mainstream.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
So thank you. That was wonderful. It's just so great to see what you're doing here. It's so needed, really, for the evolution of our healthcare systems, and how we people are taking care of our health. I am so excited to first of all to try it out, but to see how it evolves in the next few years, because it is so critical. So thank you for doing this, Xavier. I really think it's incredible, and it took someone like you to make it happen. Someone with the right motivations and the right intentions
yeah, and the right resources.
and the right resources. Yeah.
You can't put together a healthcare program if
No.
you're crazy enough to think that you can do it, and if you don't have the experience and background to know about all the moving pieces. And it's a lot of moving pieces. As soon as I find the last 10 moving pieces, I find 10 more.
Oh, I'm sure. I am
Yeah.
sure. Great. So if someone is interested in reaching out to you, what's the best way to do this?
Yeah, so best way is to reach out on our website. www.marqueemedical.com, and that's a unique spelling, Marqi. And like I said, we have a lot of free resources. I've written 10, I've written over 100 different articles on the longevity and medical space on things that people can do. So those are all free resources there. As I mentioned, we also have our health risk assessment free of charge. Anyone can go in there and get
Right.
some great recommendations. And yeah, we've got a lot of great resources on our website.
Wonderful. Well, we'll put some in the comments area just so people can access everything right away. Okay, that sounds great. And how can people help you right now?
Yeah, so I mean, we're always looking for investors. So any recommendations people have for investors, we're going to start doing our raise here pretty soon. So we can build our infrastructure a little bit faster, a little bit more robust. I mentioned our health intelligence engine. It's incredible right now, but we need to continue to innovate and build that to a more robust system so that we can help more people. And we also need to do some large scale, I don't know about clinical trials, but some pilot groups and larger scale projects, and they just take up a lot of resources and time and energy. So that's probably our biggest challenge right now is just scaling the business.
Right.
We are focused right now on our executive health offering, and that's going extremely well. But we also want to, my life's passion is, of course, is to bring this to the masses and make this accessible to the average person. And we can't, unfortunately, do that right now at scale, but we're hoping to get there within the next year or so.
That's a great goal, and one that I'm sure will be supported by quite a lot of people out there. So wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. It was great, Xavier. Again, an example of when you decide to do something, you can do it. And this is what I love when I see entrepreneurs like that. You have an idea, you have a purpose behind you, and it just takes starting something, one day after the other, never giving up. Because when you're building something that really changes the world and really brings assistance to everyone out there that is so critically needed, I know it will work as long as you do it with the right principles and the right ethics. You will bring the right people towards you and with you, definitely create something that is so critically needed nowadays. So again, thank you, Xavier. It was an honor to have you with us today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here. And yeah, I look forward to helping you along your journey as well.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with your network. Stories like that, creations like that, initiatives like that need to be shared. People need to be aware of what Xavier is doing with Marquee Health and Marquee Medical, because these are elements of our life that become so critically important, not only for our survival, but also for our longevity. We are supposed to be living longer and longer. But if we don't take care of ourselves, or if we don't have the right tools to understand what it is that is going wrong within our body, we'll not be able to live the life that we're supposed to be living, because there's so much that we can do and we have great health. And I think it's going to also raise that awareness about the inner workings of our body that we very often we don't understand. And when we have the tools to analyze what's going on, and it becomes something easy to understand and easy to use, it is truly game changing. So I count on you to share on your networks, because that can bring Xavier maybe some investors or partners that are going to be very important in his journey of growth and scaling. And it takes a village. We cannot do it on our own. So I really hope that you can do that, share as much as possible. And again, everyone, thank you for watching. And if you don't mind to subscribing to this channel and giving us a little bit of like, that also helps continue doing what we're doing. And we will see you next time.